Yeah, yeah. We're back again. It's Sunday, baby. Sunday morning to be exact. Any of you church goers, any of you football watchers, soccer watchers, I don't know what everyone does on a Sunday morning, but I hope it's positive. I hope it's something good. But I'm glad to be here once again. I absolutely love going live on Sundays. It seems like a lot of people joining in. And the playback is always good as well. Plus, I like this. Instead of making like more videos on Star Wars news, some new lore, any theories or anything that I have, I always like to go live that way because it's more off top. But nevertheless, I do enjoy making those videos at the end of the day. But sometimes this is just better because I can see what you guys are thinking. We can kind of, put all of our heads together and come up with new ideas, new stories, theories, all of that. So that the lives are always special. And of course, a good Sunday morning, go live anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, hour and a half. So today we have really good news. We have some good things within Star Wars. So everything's kind of looking on the up per se. So definitely with every spot of the fandom, we try to hit it here on Clan Brandalorian. Every corner from Coruscant to Exegol, we try to keep everything good with the Star Wars community. And yeah, so today I did just want to start off. There's no sponsor or anything here. I just wanted to take the time and kind of announce the new affiliation with the Saber Company, formerly known as Saber Theory. I absolutely love this company. Some of the people are great over on that side, and I mean, I'm glad to be a part of it. At the same time, I did want to go ahead and put up a discount code here. So if you use code Clan Brandalorian, you get 10% off site-wide. So that can be anything from hoods to cases, hilts, NeoPixel, baselet, anything. 10% off if you use code Clan Brandalorian. But right here, this is one they sent me for free, so shout out to them. I already do have a Knight Saber already, but this is the Knight hilt right here. And I went with the black this time. I do have a silver that actually went on a giveaway back in April, funny enough. And I remember making a review video for that, and a lot of people were like, wow, this saber is actually really cool. And yeah, like this is their generic saber hilt right here, but I mean, it looks really cool. And sometimes for me, especially with characters, I really love Qui-Gon Jinn's lightsaber. Well, let's be honest, there's really not a lightsaber in Star Wars that I don't like. I like a majority of them. Just some of my favorites: Obi-Wan's, Luke's from Episode 6, Qui-Gon. I love Darth Maul's. I mean, everyone has cool lightsabers for the most part. But I will say some of these are nice for, if I'm taking pictures with them. You can change the color of the blade, and it's not really, you can't really complain too much because it's like, oh, I have Qui-Gon's lightsaber, but it's red. Oh, I have Qui-Gon's lightsaber hilt, but it's it's blue. Of course, you're always looking for it to be green. With these, I mean, you can turn on any color you want, and it looks really well. But I think a black hilt is always fire. I think getting this one was a huge plus for me because I was like, man, this looks great. We did post some pictures on Instagram, YouTube as well, but I will do another review for this because I feel like everyone liked the first one. That's like my second most viewed video on the entire channel, which is crazy. So yeah, shout out the Saber Company, formerly known as Saber Theory. If you guys want to go check them out, use code Clan Brandalorian, get you 10% off. They're also always running deals. I mean, you can like buy one saber, get 2 free. You can buy one, get 1 free. I mean, there's so many BOGO deals. So yeah, go check that out. Just wanted to start the live stream off with them. But yeah, it's awesome. I really love it. Can't wait to get a NeoPixel. Both of my sabers right now are baselit. But once I get into the NeoPixel game, it's over. It's over. But let's go ahead and check the comments. Let's see who's all here today. I see some on the screen right here. But let's start off with Mr. Skywalking Ryan. I'm going to be out this morning, afternoon, but have an awesome show, bro. So appreciate that, bro. Always shout out to you for chiming in, man. I really appreciate it. Nerd in the building. Well. What's up, brother? How you doing today? How you doing? What's up, Ryan? Yeah. Alexander Wilson in the building. What's up? Good to see you back again. Once again, thanks for joining me, man. Appreciate you. Live Star Wars news streams work out best. More topics to cover, more fun to have, more debates, and like you said, making a ton of videos. Yeah, I mean, it's nice. You want to get the watch hours up. That's kind of what we're trying to aim for right now with the channel. Is I feel like the views are there, but we got to get those watch hours up. You know what I'm saying? Let's get into those early stages of monetization. We would love to get that going. Sipping a nice cup of Joe this morning. Shout out to the wife. We went and got these birthday cake kind of cold foam coffees this morning. They were absolutely gas. But we had to get smalls. So now we're sitting at home drinking the Pete's coffee. Shout out Pete's. The night was my first Saber I bought. I love it. Yeah, dude, it's so clean, so crisp, and there's no like grooves or bumps to where it's like, hard to hold. Like, especially like some of the features on like Obi-Wan, Anakin, Mace Windu, Luke's lightsabers. There's all these bulky aspects to them, but like this, from top to bottom, I mean, you can hold it at any angle, and it's not over the top. So yeah, these are really cool, man. I love them. Hello, happy Sunday. What's up, Phantom Menace Dennis? I think the first time I heard of you was in the trivia the other night that I squeaked out in 1 by 1. Shout out Tiara from Crafting on Ilum. I'm sorry, it was only by 1. It was a tough one, and I feel like most of the answers were pretty solid for the most part, or most of the questions were solid for the most part. But yeah, Dennis, glad to see you here, bro. I really appreciate you chiming in. SBC Unleashed, what's up, bro? Hey, how's it going, man? Thanks for chiming in. Hope everyone's having a good Sunday. That's my main thing. Last day of the weekend, most of us going back to work tomorrow. Boo. Yeah, but hey, that's what we got to do. But yeah, so kind of to jump in, be sure to follow on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, of course. Subscribe here. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. We're almost to 750 subscribers. Ever since my son was born, we really started diving in on the channel a lot more. Had the channel for a while. I started a little podcast, wasn't doing anything, really wasn't even, focused on doing anything. It was more of a solo thing, and then started having people on, making more videos, reviews. And so it seems like this last year we've really been going at it. So yeah, awesome time. Lego, Funko, more theories, lore. There's so much. So if you're in all that, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And yeah, we got a lot more to talk about. But let's go ahead and pull up Star Wars Holocron. If you're not new here, every Sunday we like to pull up some Star Wars Holocron. And let's go ahead and share this joint. Perfection. All right, so there's a lot to talk about. Like today, future Star Wars, Sigourney Weaver, Bob Iger, Kylo Ren, Ben Solo, Mandalorian and Grogu. Just some good news. There's quite a bit to talk about. This is going to be pretty fun, I will say. Let's go ahead and start. Where were we at? We had a good spot. I feel like I lost it. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Sigourney Weaver. So, of course, phenomenal actress, been in many movies, many star-studded movies, and she's always a standout. So, as we look at Sigourney Weaver joining the Star Wars universe, right here, it says Sigourney Weaver says Lucasfilm is no longer trying to make the Star Wars to end all Star Wars. They're letting the universe exist, and they're telling really interesting stories within that. Sourced by Empire Magazine. So, if we look at this, we know that Star Wars is not ending anytime soon. It's just not happening. We're already celebrating 50 years of Star Wars in the next year. Basically 2025 is almost over. But this is pretty crazy just because it's just like, yeah, of course, us being, Star Wars fans, we look at this and we're like, well, is there an end for Star Wars? And I don't think that's the case anytime soon. There's a lot of new shows, a lot of new movies that are coming out, but there's just so much, and there's so many stories that we can, add on. Star Wars Starfighter, for instance, that's supposed to be its own standalone film. Is this going to connect with other shows and movies in the sequel time? More than likely, but at the same time, it's still telling its own story. Maul Shadow Lord, even though this could really intertwine with a lot of different aspects, between events of the Bad Batch, Order 66, going into the Rebels era, we have a lot of time here to where we can talk about a lot of different Star Wars and stories. It's not more so centered around good versus evil. It's not Luke Skywalker versus Darth Vader. It's not Anakin Skywalker versus Jedi. It's nothing like that. It's more so branching off into its own thing. And I think that's a really, really good thing for Star Wars. It's just that hit those little nooks and crannies in different areas of Star Wars. There's so many different things that can be talked about. And it doesn't have to be, originated with the Skywalker saga. The Skywalker saga is complete. And yeah, I mean, there's more story to it, just like even times of like the Acolyte, or even going way down the line, we can talk about some of the things like even in the I don't know how great of what kind of premise this movie would be, but even like the Taika Waititi movie, like there's rumors that is going to be set way down the line. Who knows? I mean, there's so many different areas that we could talk about. But to kind of talk a little bit more about Sigourney Weaver, says that her character in The Mandalorian and Grogu is not originally going to be a woman. In quote, I think again these days they think often, what do I need to do to make this seem more timely? And now because women are doing everything, hooray for us. And cool, dude. Shout out women. We need women. That's just something simply factual. But at the same time, I think cool. There's so many characters that have been written as male or female, and then towards once they get to like the chopping block, they're like, let's switch the gender, let's switch the look, and I mean, to me, this is not a huge thing. Cool, whatever. If Sigourney Weaver's character was supposed to be Sir Admiral yada yada, cool, dope. Hope he's a great character. And then same here for Sigourney Weaver. I'm glad that she's getting a spot as a woman in Star Wars. So there's so many awesome characters in Star Wars, male or female. But I mean, look, we got to look at the lineage of Leia Organa going back to 1977. Ahsoka Tano, a fan favorite of many. Rey Skywalker, she's coming around. There's so many. Jyn Erso, Mon Mothma. There's so many female characters that are just awesome. And this is another cool thing. So yeah, shout out to women. Shout out to Star Wars. Shout out Sigourney Weaver. But there was another one down here. I think we're going a little up top. So many news with a lot of new movies out too. There's so many new ones. And we do, yeah, right here. This one was a really good one that I read and was like, oh, okay, interesting, cool. So kind of back here once again, we're talking Rian Johnson and his time with the new Star Wars in the time that he had, because I mean, once upon a time Rian Johnson was a Star Wars hater. He didn't really care for the prequel trilogy. I know so many people who do not like the sequel or the prequel trilogy at all. They do like Revenge of the Sith, but they don't like 1 and 2. I mean, I like them. I grew up with them. I grew up with episode 1 through 6. And so a lot of that is just really touched with my childhood. So I absolutely love those. But at the same time, I can see why people don't like any of them. I mean, Star Wars is not perfect by any means, but I really love all of it. Back to comments here. Shout out to Star Wars Holocron and Star Wars Newsnet. Yes, absolutely. Shout out all of them. If it wasn't for that, I couldn't really be able to pull it up, but they get to everything right away. It's really cool. Yeah, I don't think the Watiti thing's happening either. Just because I feel like that's the thing. A couple of weeks ago, it was just like, oh, I don't like Bob Iger anymore, and it's like I mean, they shut down the Hunt for Ben Solo. Cool. I still think it's going to come around, but at the same time, that is my thing with Kathleen Kennedy in Lucasfilm. She has an insane track record. She is a part of so many iconic pop culture films, stemming back even to the 80s. I mean, a legend. She really is. But at the same time, the only thing I think with Disney and Lucasfilm is their eagerness to just announce things. That's my thing. Let it cook, let it marinate a while, and then once you have a good ground, then announce it. You can't be like, okay, we have Tales of Endor. Now we have Jabba the Hutt gangster movie. We got a trilogy coming. Here's the Lando movie. Here's a droid story. Here's Rogue Squadron, which is also apparently coming back. And here's, Taika Waititi's film. Here's James Mangold's trilogy. Here's a new, series called The Acolyte, and it's going to be centered around a Sith. Like, don't announce any of it. Let it sit in the woodworks for a while. Let these script writers, filmmakers, directors, let them all work on this behind the scenes. And then more so, that's how things don't really get canceled. I mean, I don't know how Hollywood works. I don't know how Disney works, but I know me on the outside, I know how it works to hear that news is getting announced and it doesn't happen. That sucks. We all get blue balled at the end of the day, and it's not fair. Like, I want a Lando series. I want a droid story. I want a James Mangold trilogy. I want a new Rey, the new Jedi Order or whatever it's supposed to be called, the Charmin Obeyed Shinoy. I want all that. But don't announce it too early. Don't get our hopes up. And when was all this said? Like post COVID, like 2021, 2022, something like that, 23 maybe. Like it's like, guys, announce everything when it's like close to being like released. They're like, hey, we got a trailer coming. Now let's talk about it. But that's just me. Yo, Mando United, what's up? Good to see you here, brother. Appreciate you joining. She's a great actress. Looking forward to seeing her in Star Wars. Absolutely, dude. Yeah, she's another one with a great track record. Yeah, it's dope. I definitely could have misinterpreted what she said when I hear they're letting the universe exist. I hear we aren't going to try to go out and do the previous project, but I could be wrong. Just got to wait. Yeah, I mean, that's also a thing, too, where it's just like, a lot of these actors and actresses have their points, which is always good. It's always good to be heard. But at the same time, we can always take it in completely different contexts. That's also why I hate texting people sometimes, even though that's my main like source of, communication is texting. But at the same time, I like sometimes I'll be like, damn, are they mad at me just because they didn't use an emoji, in certain things. So like it's hard to it's easy to take things out of context. So yeah, it's one of those things where I was kind of thinking the same too, nerd. I was like, wait, what does she mean by that? But yeah, maybe it's completely different. Go watch Predator Badlands. It's really good, dude. I've heard really good things about that. I absolutely love the original. I thought Prey was amazing too. Really, really cool. Part 2, it was okay. Then AVP, I mean, not too into those, but I would really love to see Badlands. And then what was it? Killer of Killers, the animated one. Sounds pretty cool. For character as a veteran pilot, I think she'll portray it perfectly. Yeah, and it'd be cool to hear her like name drop maybe like, Porkins or Biggs or Luke, like hearing her name drop some of those names would be pretty dope. Shit, even Omega, that'd be cool to hear Omega's name, even though she joined the rebellion to be a pilot. That'd be so dope if she like mentioned Omega. I'm looking forward to seeing Predator Badlands. Yeah, dude. I'm pretty excited. I'm probably gonna have to go check it out now. Alexander said the prequel movies did have their problems. Like I think Attack of the Clones was just a poor movie. Yeah, and I don't know. It's one of those things where it's as you get older and like rewatch it, you're kind of like, oh, I see what people are talking about. But I mean, if you resonate with it, I mean, yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I don't think the Ben Solo movie is happening at all. I think it does, man. I think there's a lot of voices for it. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe it doesn't. But I'm definitely an advocate for it. I don't think Rogue Squadron's happening either. Yeah, I mean, they're talking about adapting it into a series, even though they said they were going to be done with series. So, yeah, we'll have to see what that means. That's going to be pretty interesting. Yeah, I'm with you on that. They announce things a little too quickly. They do, dude. And that's the thing, too, is like even as like a content creator, like what I do here, there's so many things I'm doing and I'm like, dude, I just want everyone to know that I'm dropping this video next week or that I'm working on this one. It's like, bro, I just recorded the video. I haven't even edited anything. Like that's crazy on my end to be like, we got this video coming and it's like I haven't even edited it yet. I don't even have a thumbnail for it. What am I talking about? So it's just funny things like that. But let's dive back in on X here. Ryan Johnson calls The Last Jedi the most positive experience I have ever had with anything I've made. I've talked to so many people over the years since we made that movie who have such a deep connection to Star Wars and who have deep connections to that movie. And so it's been the most positive experience I've ever had with anything I've made in terms of interacting with people who've seen it. I came out at the other end of it loving Star Wars fandom more than I did even going into it. And this is from the Newport Beach Film Festival. So this is cool. I didn't really have too many issues with The Last Jedi. I thought it was a good movie. At the same time, I think what's crazy is it's cool that he's been able to reach out to fans who like this. It's just like if you don't like the movie Twister, for instance. But who doesn't like Twister? It's a great movie. But anyways, if someone doesn't like Twister, they're probably not going to talk to Ryan Johnson about how much they hate the film, unless you're just a complete a-hole. Because why would you do that? I want to go up to the guy who made Piranhas and be like, dude, your movie sucked. There's no point in that, even though, piranhas, it's pretty silly, but it's, I just don't have the time. I don't need to say that. I don't need to tell them that I don't like the movie. But this right here is cool because, people aren't going to go up to Ryan Johnson and be like, dude, The Last Jedi sucked. Like, that movie just sucked, dude. Like, can't believe what you did with Luke Skywalker. So I mean, in his instance here, he's saying that this is the most positive thing that he's had, and he is a Star Wars fan as well. He's talked about his times, growing up with the originals, going through that timeline of the prequels, which he was one of millions of people who did not like the prequels. I mean, we can go back. I remember getting made fun of as an 8-year-old child for liking Revenge of the Sith, and not understanding how anyone could not like that movie. But at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, this dude has an opinion and it's whatever. It doesn't knock mine. Cool. That's fine. He doesn't like it. Cool. But now he's come around to it. And when, you let movies sit, you let movies marinate, how well do they, translate into the future? Was a movie only good for its time? Does it age well? So there's a lot of those things, but that's really cool. In my opinion, that Ryan Johnson is getting a positive experience, from Star Wars. And that's really cool. I didn't really know of Ryan Johnson's ball knowledge. I didn't really know of his past and his backstory. Talking with a good buddy at work, and he was just like, dude, no, like, Ryan Johnson has made great movies. He has a good vision. So I mean, I've never seen any of Ryan Johnson's other films. But at the same time, and I take this guy's word for what it is. He's seen lots of movies. It's kind of like a movie guy. He knows what's good and bad and all that. So I was just like, cool, Ryan Johnson. Might have to watch more of his stuff other than just The Last Jedi. So yeah, like, it's cool. It's a cool little thing. And then, yeah, a little bit more here. Ryan Johnson believes it's part of the fun that Star Wars fandom isn't united. Now, this is a thing I completely agree on, because if we all liked everything, the world would suck. It would be worse than what it is right now. But Ryan Johnson saying that the part of the fun is that we all like different things in Star Wars, 1000%. For instance, I can sit here right now and say Star Wars nerd. He wants some KOTOR. He wants some Old Republic, and like me, I don't know too much about KOTOR. I don't know too much about those times. So that's not on my wish list right now. So 2 friends, 2 different things. Awesome. I have a good buddy of mine too, who absolutely hates the prequels because he loves the OTs so much. Yoda should not have a lightsaber. Cool, dude. But at the same time, it's just like, yes, that's what makes Star Wars fun, because we can all talk about the things that we like, the things we don't like. And it's not more so of an argument, but it's more of just kind of like, oh, you like that? Oh, I like this, so it's different things. And that's also just, that's how life is. We all don't like the same things. But in his quote, the notion that Star Wars has been kind of a Shangri-La united fandom and that nothing could split it apart is false, which 1000% is very true. The reality is Star Wars has always been something that has meant different things to different people. And I think that part of the fun and the passion of it is, as fans, is arguing about it respectfully. And yeah, I don't think anyone should be arguing hatefully, because that's just weird. That's just a different realm of arguing, because that's not even arguing. But this, when you have a good debate or you argue, do it respectfully, because I mean, at the end of the day, these are movies. These are things created for entertainment purposes only. I mean, and I feel like everyone here can say, yeah, Star Wars is a huge part of our lives, which 1000%. You see it behind me, you see it on me, everywhere. It's all here. So Star Wars is a great thing, but at the same time, we don't need to be hateful. We don't need to be, we don't need to be basement dwellers, like they say. We don't need to be any of those. We can talk Star Wars. We can have arguments. We can have different ideas. We can have different perspectives. And that's what makes it fun. That's basically what Ryan Johnson's saying here, is it makes the fandom fun. It's part of it. Now you look at Marvel, you look at DC, like there's so many different fandoms, even within those little realms of entertainment. And you see the same thing. People saying like, who's the GOAT Marvel? And it's like Marvel character. And it's like, oh, it's Iron Man. It's not even close. And then this guy's like, bro, it's Hulk. It's like, nah, dude, like the Guardians of the Galaxy, like that's really cool things. Like, I don't even know what I'm talking about, but like all those different things. You know, I have good friends that are into Marvel, and they're like, nah, dude, it's like Black Widow's the best character, and it's like, no, she's not, bro. You know, so it all happens. Batman, Superman, you know, all those things. Suicide Squad, you know, whatever fandom those are part of. Everyone has different ideas, and that's what makes it fun. Because if everyone was just a Spider-Man fan, like, come on, there's someone out there who likes so much more than that. But yeah, back to the comments again. Until the Star Wars project is actually filming, I won't believe that it's happening. Yeah, and it's also hard too, because if they keep it under wraps and then announce it, everything goes so much smoother. Like, what are we doing? Totally agree with the announcing stuff too quickly. I always hope Star Wars makes me eat my words. LOL. I never want a bad project, even if I'm not interested in whatever story they're telling me. It blows my mind, and when it blows my mind, yeah, dude, that was kind of me with that was me with Skeleton Crew. Like, the hype for it was like, yeah, this is cool, you know, whatever. I don't know how, you know, this is going to kind of incorporate with the Mandoverse, but now we know, you know, Atton's right next to Dathomir. There's old ancient credits there that can be used to maybe fund Thrawn's army. Who knows? But there's so many cool things with the kids, Jod and Anawud, their alliances with other different characters in that universe. So it's really cool to see this kind of come together. But at the same time, it's just like, I was not like over the moon for Skeleton Crew. Like, stop. Like, that's not the thing. But yeah, it makes you, when you watch it and give it a chance, you're like, this is like one of the most fun Star Wars projects ever made. And Skeleton Crew, it's awesome, you know. So yeah, give it some time. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I say that a lot here on the channel. Alexander Wilson, I tried to like The Last Jedi, but I thought it was also another poor Star Wars movie. Yeah, and that's okay, man. That's okay. I don't like Ryan or The Last Jedi, but I would love to sit down and have a civilized conversation with him and see where he is coming from, like how I do with Clone Force 99 on their Acolyte series. Yeah, I don't know what you'd want to ask him though. Like, what would you want to ask Ryan Johnson? What kind of answers would you expect from him? Because you also got to think, these guys are directors. They write stories, and at the end of the day, they go through. So I just don't know what exact questions you would want to ask. I don't mind The Last Jedi, to be honest. The one I struggle to enjoy is The Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, I get that. That's okay. I think the opening of Rise of Skywalker is some of the craziest Star Wars opening in all of Star Wars. I think it's awesome. And a lot of things get answered. It's just kind of when the last movie or last adaptation of a trilogy comes to an end, you're always just like, damn it. Like, that's what it was, you know? So the only good Star Wars movie made in the last 10 years was Rogue One. God bless Tony Gilroy. It seems like he's the only one that can make Star Wars projects so far. Well, and that's the thing, too, is when you have projects like Andor that enhance a movie, that a movie enhances an entire trilogy, because Rogue One, what Andor and Rogue One does, is it enhances the viewing and what the actual story of the original trilogy is. Like, how do you make a story centered around a Death Star and getting the plans, getting it destroyed? Because I mean, what if Cassian Andor and Jyn Erso didn't have any connections to, of course, Jyn's dad, in Galen Erso? If they didn't have a flaw built into the Death Star, Luke Skywalker would have never known how to blow it up. So this is like crazy, you know. Everything happens for a reason. So I mean, that story does a really good job of showing that. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I liked all the prequel or the sequel movies. For the most part, I've liked everything that's come out. So I mean, movies are better than others, though. I will say that. So yeah, Rogue One definitely is the best movie made in the last 10 years, and it's really not close. In my opinion, I don't think it's close at all. Rogue One's a really good one, and I will say Andor made Rogue One just wipe the floor. I mean, it's just not even close. And just watching Andor directly after, or watching Rogue One directly after Andor, was just even a better movie. It's like, how do you guys do this? It's so crazy. Ryan Johnson directed many episodes of Breaking Bad back in the day. Dude, so that's another good thing. I actually did not know that. I think I heard something. Maybe he had worked on something in AMC, and that now makes sense. Breaking Bad being, in my opinion, the best TV show series of all time. And I say that very, very protectively because I just don't think that there's a better series, and it's just not close. Breaking Bad is awesome. So Ryan Johnson getting in there, that's fucking awesome. That's awesome. Old Republic wipes the floor with any other era, dark, brutal, weird, but that's a no for some higher ups in that company. Yeah, it just kind of depends. They could definitely bring in some cool things like that. For KOTOR, you'd have to play the old video games, Knights of the Old Republic. I think some of the best Star Wars video games ever made. Go play it, and you'll fall in love with KOTOR. Yeah, dude. I think from Commander J telling me some things with KOTOR, I'm like, dude, this shit is awesome. But I didn't really game like that when I was a kid. I did play the Clone Wars game on the OG Xbox, but other than that, I'm just really not of a huge gamer either. The only games I play are like 2K and COD. That's all I play. So like my Xbox sitting here, this is what it's used for. It's COD and 2K. So if anyone's playing Black Ops 7 next week, DM me on Instagram. Let's squad up. Skeleton Crew is written and directed by the Spider-Man director. Since you brought up Spider-Man up, damn dude, popping in some of the lore here. Rise of Skywalker was torture for me in the theaters. It was so bad that I wish it ended. That would suck. You're just like, damn, like straight end now. I watched episode 4 last night. It popped up on the TV guide in the UK. So good. I love going back to the original. Hell yeah. Dude, it's always so cold. Like, especially like Sling. Like, they'll just pop on like random, movies of Star Wars. I'm like, let's kick this on. I Hadja, what's up, man? I did that same, my Mando Clando. What's up, brother? And hello there all. What's good, man? Appreciate you joining in. I love Breaking Bad, but the best series of all time is The Wire. I've heard of that. I'll have to check that out. I always love hearing good series, so that'd be awesome. But yeah, shout out to all 8 of you in here. I appreciate that. I accidentally triggered Siri, and I'm about to trigger it again because I said Siri. There we go. But yeah, appreciate all 8 of you here. Let's get another sip of coffee and let's go through. Anyone else sipping coffee this morning? I know some of you might be as early as 9 a.m. Pacific time, or some of the people over here in the UK, it should be 4, 5, 6 p.m. For you guys. So I mean, probably no coffee, no tea for you at this time, but if you're having a long Sunday, maybe you'll have a glass. But yeah, anyone having coffee today? I love coffee. It's my addiction. I love it. Yeah, for real. I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to turn it on again. But yeah, that's awesome. Let's get back. So yeah, more Ryan Johnson here says he was involved with the discourse surrounding the prequels when they were released. And this is kind of what I was talking about earlier, how he didn't like it. I was in college when the prequels came out. Are you kidding me? The prequels wars, we had a few. I mean, everyone did. So I could only imagine being the age I am now back then. Would I probably still like these movies? Probably. But at the same time, it's just like crazy to see. I mean, as you get older, you see what's good, you see what's bad. Like, there's so many like 80s movies that I grew up on, and like rewatching them, I'm like, this movie sucks. It's terrible, but I still love it because of what it is. But yeah, it's one of those things. There's so much Ryan Johnson there. I should have put him in the thumbnail. Ryan Johnson says the divisive fan reaction to The Last Jedi is not the reason his Star Wars trilogy has yet to be made, which, I mean, like I said, with the things I'm hearing about his past, now knowing that he's directed some episodes of Breaking Bad, now I want to go back and see what episodes of Breaking Bad he directed, because it's just like Sean Levy. That's why I'm so high on the Star Wars Starfighter thing, is because I'm also a huge Stranger Things fan. And he's directed so many of the good episodes, and most of the action episodes that happen in Stranger Things. So, and I think he has 2 or 3 episodes where he's directing in Stranger Things. So season 5. So that's awesome. But no, not at all. In fact, that it's the reason that I wanted to. My overall experiences with putting the movie out and what you're talking about with fan feedback. I mean, first of all, I'm a lifelong Star Wars fan, so I know the deal. I know that Star Wars fans are passionate about the stuff. We love the stuff we love. We hate the stuff we hate, and we fight about it. And it's been happening since the original trilogy. Of course, man. And that's the thing, is like, even like Patrick from Poptography told me, like, we were going to get a Wookiee, special. We got an Ewok special, and it's just like, no, that we don't want that. So, I mean, going back to the early 80s, we still got people like, what, man, what are we doing? And people hate everything and people love everything. It's just one of those things, man. It's so funny. Um, oh, look at this. That's cool. 3 days ago, the complete saga released 18 years ago. Crazy. That was really fun. There was another one on here though that I really, really wanted to talk about. Daniel Craig and Star Wars. Actually, this is another good one to talk about. So there's also been rumors that the Shadow Council would not be shown in The Mandalorian and Grogu. This right here is awesome. This is 4 days ago, but Hemke Madera will reprise his role as an Imperial warlord that was on the Imperial Shadow Council, and he'll be in The Mandalorian and Grogu. So seeing them in season 3 was awesome. Seeing them kind of talk shit on Thrawn, like, where is he? Like, who are you talking about? Thrawn's not here. It's going to be cool once Thrawn comes back, because they're all probably going to be shivering their timbers because Thrawn is back, because we see that with Mon Mothma. And also, I have read on Reddit, which, I mean, take everything with a grain of salt these days, that Leia will be either shown or talked about briefly in the Ahsoka season 2, and she will kind of go into like a brief hiding, apparently, because of Thrawn's return. So that's going to be pretty gnarly, because that just shows what kind of threat Thrawn is. I do think that the Mando, like, Endgame Dave Filoni film will show Thrawn dying, but at the same time, Thrawn is going to win in... He won in Ahsoka season 1. I think if he is shown or anything stems to the main plot into Mandalorian and Grogu setting up going into the next adaptation, I think Thrawn will win there. I think Thrawn will win in Skeleton Crew. Book of Boba Fett, is also tied in there, and he's going to win in Ahsoka season 2. I think he's going to win this entire time period up until we get the Filoni Endgame film. So I think Thrawn is kind of the big dude right now. Everything about him is going to be pretty gnarly. So yeah, that's going to be one of those things. Matt Smith will be filming this winter for Starfighter. Boba Fett's blaster is going for $1 million at an auction at E33, man. Crazy. George Lucas purchased a mansion for $52 million in London. Okay, cool. And then this is kind of where I want to end it off. This Kylo Ren meets the spirits of Luke, Obi-Wan, Yoda, and Qui-Gon Jinn. Yes, Qui-Gon Jinn in the new issue of Legacy of Vader. I come from a long line of teachers, a hard instinct to break. So this is really cool. Let's kind of pull up this picture. Let me see how it's looking on screen. Cool, dope. So what is your life for? Luke right here talking to Ben Solo. Stop trying to teach me. I come from a long line of teachers, a hard instinct to break. So that's really cool, because I am ready to finish the rest of these. I got all the Legacy of Vader comics here. No dirt on them, but my local comic book shop, I haven't heard from them in like 3 weeks to get the rest of the issues here. But these are some bangers, so I think I'm gonna have to get on my wife's Kindle or just get on Amazon and just get the rest of them digitally. So maybe I can look at these as collector's items. But stay tuned if you guys are interested in the Legacy of Vader. There's a lot of cool things and good stories in there that are really awesome. Whether you like the sequel trilogy or not, this timeline, it's showing Kylo Ren into the times of Darth Vader. He wants to find that darkness. When he's speaking to his helmet in The Force Awakens, it's you get that connection, you get that deep mind state going forward, so you really get to understand it. But it's really cool. I think it's a good story, and it kind of makes you want the hunt for Ben Solo to happen, dude. If I'm not comparing Kylo Ren, Ben Solo to Anakin Skywalker for any reason, sometimes it's even hard to compare Luke Skywalker to Anakin Skywalker, because even though they're father and son, they are completely different, went through different things, and it's a really, really cool story. So with Kylo Ren going forward, I think the hunt for Ben Solo, he could definitely get that redemption and that forgiveness, that Anakin did. I mean, Anakin killed kids, for Christ's sake. He choked his pregnant wife. Emotions were high, yes, but that is no excuse for any of that nonsense. And of course, it's for entertainment purposes. This is why Anakin's fall to the dark side was more treacherous than what it is set to be. It's more, it kind of makes you feel it more as a human being, how he falls down. But at the same time, it's like Kylo Ren goes through this. Of course, he killed his father, killed a lot of innocent people, and it's sad. But it's one of those things where, no one's truly dead, and that's the Hunt for Ben Solo's kind of slogan. No one's truly dead. I mean, Asajj Ventress died. Ahsoka died 19 times. Shakti's died a million times, but I mean, I know she didn't come back. But it's just another one of those things where it's, characters die all the time, and they come back because this is a galaxy far, far away. Just because, if we were to die here, we don't get to come back, like that, because this is reality. This is entertainment. This is movies and series in a galaxy far, far away that we really love. Absolutely. Nonetheless. But at the same time, we see it all the time. Boba Fett, Ahsoka, Asajj Ventress. I mean, it's just a list of a million people who've come back. I thought Tech from the Bad Batch was going to show back up at some point. So, you can never rule it out. There's so many different things, but yeah, I mean, I think the Ben Solo movie should happen. I think it gets a lot of people back into, what's going on. And I mean, the directors, the Adam Driver coming back, the writers, all of it was star-studded. It was funded. And so, yeah, maybe Bob Iger, I know Nerd was like, hey, I need to sit down with Rian Johnson. I need to sit down with Bob Iger. Like, what are we doing, bro? Like, this is the perfect opportunity. And it also just kind of sounds lame when you're like, well, he died, so how's that work? And it's like, bro, what? Have you seen the original trilogy? Have you seen, the Book of Boba Fett? Have you seen the Clone Wars, Ahsoka? Like, what? Like, what do you mean he died? It's like, nah, he died. It's done. So, really weird. Really weird. But yeah, what do you guys think of today's news? There's a lot of good things. Really hype for Sigourney Weaver. Really hype for the future of Star Wars. Bob Iger is kind of right now, but that's okay. I'm not going to sit on here and spew hate towards him because that's just not right. But at the same time, I can be a little upset. I can be like, hey, bro, what's the logic behind this? I need to know because I'm a Star Wars fan and I want to know more. But okay, approximately 5:30. Okay, so right there in a little ballpark there. I'm definitely sipping a large mug of Java today. Yeah, get that large mug of Java. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. All right, man. Have a good one. Yeah, edit that Rise of Skywalker video. I love to see that. Love that. Really loved your Chimera video, bro. Decaf latte at the moment. Yeah, I gotta get that decaf. I would love a Wookiee special. Shit, man. I mean, what? We're over 40 years due now. We need it. Levy directed Free Guy. Shout out Andy from the Galactic Core podcast, now Why So Sidious podcast. He told me to check that out too, so I need to go check that out. And Skywalking Ryan told me to watch that too, so I think I need that to happen. Oh nah, that Filoni movie's happening. You think Filoni getting his own movie ain't gonna happen? No way, bro. Need to read the Thrawn books. I do too. I need to read more. A lot of the trade says that Disney's opinion on Filoni had dropped a lot, and he's not doesn't have a very high grace with him. Well, that's awkward knowing that he's CCO, even though that's of Lucasfilm. But I mean, still, that's kind of awkward. Shit, you're in a low corner of people there, man. A lot of people want it. Well, nobody wants a Ben Solo movie, but then you saying he doesn't work for you, and that's okay. But with Ben Solo acting like and he's an emo spoiled brat that acted like a 12-year-old, I mean, makes sense. He's a Skywalker, right? He comes from a Skywalker lineage. Luke was the same way. He didn't get power converters, bro. Like, cool, bro. Wham, you have to wait till harvest next year to finally do what you want to do. Go cry about it, Luke. Go cry about it. Anakin's also whiny as hell, but I mean, of course, he stems from, leaving his mother dying, his wife, all that stuff. Yes, 1,000%. But it's like, come on. Yeah, I know a lot. I know a lot of people who want the Ben Solo movie. I feel like it is a very low minority of people who don't want it, and that's just because they don't like sequels. But if you read, like, I'm not even joking. You don't have to like sequels to like Ben Solo. It's just like people who don't like the Acolyte, but they like Chimera. It's literally the same thing. But if you read these, you will like Kylo Ren. You will like Ben Solo more. This dude gets fleshed out. Like, could they have done those in the movies? Yes, of course we want all this to happen in the movies, but there's more content. You can only fit so much into 2 hours. But these are amazing. Absolutely love them. Tech, yeah, dude, Tech. Rest in peace, man. I mean, I agree and disagree with this. I mean, look at Boba Fett. If that's the case, Ahsoka should not have her own series. She died a few times. So, yeah. Roll on 2026, baby. Let's go. Come on. Roll on. Roll on. Bob Iger being the adult in the room and stopped Lucasfilm from moving on a bad choice with this Ben Solo. Does anyone think that's smart to spend $250 million in this movie? He said it was $250 million. Also, I don't think any of us understand how money works in film, how money works into a series. Because, for instance, Napoleon Dynamite, $100,000. Although I know that was an independent film, we were just talking about that the other day, how great of a movie that is and how it ages. Now that movie is worth millions. It is. Yes, I'm comparing Star Wars to Napoleon Dynamite. It's very different, but still, yeah. Luke never trashed his room like Ben did. I thought that scene was awful. I mean, how do we know? Maybe Luke trashed his room, anytime when he was a kid. I mean, different times, different things. The family should be called the Skywiners. Well, the boys for sure. Yeah, bro, they all whine. It's the whole point. And it's just like, like people kind of talking about like George Lucas and how he like developed male characters back then. It's like, yeah, bro, cool. Like they're going to be whiny. That's just kind of how it goes. They can be whiny 1000%. Book of Boba Fett and Ahsoka were both bad shows. They probably didn't even need to exist. I mean, at this point, Alexander, I love you, but what do you like, man? What do you like? Ben was a Nepo boy. Nepo boy. But was clearly manipulated by the dark side. It was warped and wrecked his soul. Yeah. Dude, and it's just like one of those things where it's like you really look at the character like, God, sucks. And then at the end of the day, especially for Kylo Ren, you understand that Palpatine is still playing behind the curtains. He's still the one behind everything, behind enemy lines, and disguising himself as the Snoke guy. So it's like one of those things where he really kind of gets kind of taken out. But I mean, yeah, it's one of those things. Disney is a public company, and if you look and see how financials work by looking at their SEC filings. Oh, well, I've never seen that. But I might have to check those out. I like Rogue One, Andor, Skeleton Crew. Everything else to me was poor. Okay. So it seems like Disney's doing it for you with the Rogue One, Andor, and Skeleton Crew. I'd love to hear that. This is also the thing, too, where I feel like this right here is a perfect example of what Rian Johnson's talking about. Now, what's really cool is it's like, dude, we have so many different aspects of the Star Wars galaxy. We have so many different things that people like here. For instance, Rogue One and or Skeleton Crew. Like that is definitely a good point in the fandom. We have people up here talking about, Book of Boba Fett earlier, talking Mando and Grogu. In some of the animated series. Like that is what's really cool about this fandom. There's different points all over the place. But with that being said, guys, I think we're going to wrap up today. Hunt for Ben Solo. Let it come to light. If you guys want a lightsaber, go to thesabercompany.com. Use code ClaimBrandalorian. Get 10% off. If you want a $6 lightsaber, I can save you up to $40. So, go check that out. And also, if you want a lightsaber, the cheapest one on there, I believe, is like $90. So, you can get a little 10% off of that bad boy right there. A little something. But yeah, go check that out. I've enjoyed all things that are Lucasfilm Star Wars has released. Such diverse storytelling and styles. It's a big galaxy after all. 1000%, Hadja. I believe that. That's kind of how I look at it. I've loved Star Wars so long. There's like a little null area where I was just like seeing the sequel movies as they came out, loved them. But at the same time, I wasn't into it like I was when I was a kid. And The Mandalorian did that for me. So it got me back into it. So I really, really love everything that's come out. There's so much room for storytelling. There's so many different things. And it's awesome, so it's great. It's great. I love Star Wars, man. Cheers to see you again, Clando, man. May the force be. Hey, may the force be with you, man. I really appreciate you chiming in. Really, really appreciate all of you guys. I really do. I love Star Wars and I want it to be great. Me too, man. Me too. This is the way. Hey, this is the way. But with that being said, guys, if you are new here or if you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button down below. Smash the like. And we'll see you guys every Sunday. If this is a good time for everybody, let me know. Let me know. We'll always have the replay. If you chimed in late or you're catching this on the rewatch, make sure you hit the subscribe button, like, hit me on Instagram. Let me see what's going on. Let me know what you guys think of any new news or any ideas, any theories that you have. Maybe we can talk about them. So yeah, really appreciate you guys. But with all that being said, we'll see y'all in the next one. This is the way. Also, look at this awesome end screen. I know it was at the beginning, but me chilling with Asajj Ventress and Quinlan Voss. Watch, you'll see it. You'll see it right here. Later, guys. Deuces.